Tonight, all the day's major stories here on Prime. More than 100 of the 200-plus hostages held by Hamas militants have now been freed. Hundreds of Palestinians released from Israeli prisons as the fragile ceasefire between Hamas and Israel holds. What's next in the conflict as aid organizations plead for a long-term truce to help the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Plus,
because we need to protect the aquifer, the water. Water is life.
What does that mean for the 15,000 people that live in this area?
That's a disaster for the community around this area.
the lasting fallout from America's nuclear past. In tonight's Prime Focus, we take you to Navajo Nation. It was a key location for uranium mining, but a major accident sent radioactive waste flowing through their community. The accident and other problems with mine cleanup has pushed many of those in the community out of their homes. They believe it's led to fatal illnesses. Now they fear more mining may be on the horizon. And
it was like the best and the worst time in my life, because here it is, our star is ascending, and my friends literally start dropping dead.
She's the multi-hyphenate Emmy Award-winning actress doing some good in the world. We sit down with Abbott Elementary's Cheryl Lee Ralph on her work to help combat HIV/AIDS. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the warning about an outbreak of pneumonia in children in one Ohio county. 142 cases reported, what authorities are now saying. Plus, emergency crews raced to the scene of a house explosion. At least one body recovered. The investigation into what caused it. And 2023 is said to be the warmest year on record. A new report unveils why, as world leaders, including the vice president, descend on to COP28 conference in Dubai. We take a look at the state of the global climate by the numbers. Our correspondents are fanned out around the world covering those stories and much more for us tonight. But we do begin with those major developments in the Israel-Hamas war. New images tonight of 6 more Israeli hostages who were released and are back in Israel in the custody of the Red Cross. This comes just hours after 2 other Israeli hostages were released, 21-year-old Mia Shem and 40-year-old Amit Sosna. Israel and Hamas extended their ceasefire another 24 hours in exchange for those 8 hostages who were released. No Americans, however, were set free today. This comes amid escalating violence in Jerusalem. At least 4 people have been killed after a shooting at a bus stop. That deadly attack unfolded early this morning when a pair of heavily armed assailants reportedly drove up to the bus stop, got out of their vehicle, and opened fire. From Israel today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated Israel has the right to do everything it can to ensure an incident like the October terror attack never happens again. But at the same time, he warned Israel to conduct a targeted war against Hamas in Gaza. The temporary truce between Israel and Hamas is set to expire by morning. ABC's Matt Gutman leads us off tonight, once again from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, that tearful embrace, the sobs of relief, and the moment the family of 21-year-old Mia Shem, held hostage for 55 days, finally reunited. A mother holding on to the daughter she thought she'd lost. And just a few hours earlier, that massive crowd surrounding Mia and another hostage, gunmen escorting her to that Red Cross van in Gaza. Mia's mother getting the phone call that her daughter was coming home. We first spoke with Mia's mother 6 weeks ago after her family watched this video released by Hamas showing Mia in captivity, pleading to her family to help her get home, wounded and hollow-eyed days after she was taken hostage from that music festival on October 7th.
Nothing will ever be the same for you.
Of course it's... I mean, this is the worst nightmare every mother can have.
Hamas freeing 8 hostages today, none of them Americans, more than 100 still being held, with Israel releasing 30 more Palestinian women and minors amid urgent negotiations. That temporary ceasefire set to expire in hours. And the fragile truce threatened today. Video circulating online showing the moment Palestinian gunmen attacked a bus stop in Jerusalem, opening fire, sending the crowd running. At least 4 Israelis killed, including a pregnant woman, several more wounded. Hamas claiming responsibility. Tonight, Israel with renewed vows to eradicate Hamas and move to the next phase of the war in southern Gaza. We pressed the IDF.
You're saying that southern Gaza could look like northern Gaza?
I'm saying that if Hamas is in southern Gaza, we have no choice but to go after Hamas where they are located.
So many civilians living in bombed-out neighborhoods. 15,000 people have been killed in Gaza, according to the health ministry run by Hamas. The UN warning of an epic humanitarian catastrophe with nearly 2 million Palestinians displaced. Our team met 40-year-old Najla Mata in Khan Yunis. She supports the truce, but says there's no water and no food. The simplest things in life are not there for us to live. And tonight, rising concern over the fate of 8 American hostages still believed held in Gaza. Israeli and American officials admitting they know little about their condition or even which group is holding them. This is the last video Iris Hagai Liniato says she has of her mother, Judy, an American citizen, her parents taking their morning walk when gunmen shot them.
What is it like living with this uncertainty for so long now?
It's a nightmare, you know? Not knowing for 55 days is... I won't wish this upon anybody.
So painful for so many involved. Matt Gutman joins us once again from Tel Aviv. Matt, that ceasefire is set to expire in just a matter of hours now. What more are you learning about those intense negotiations to try to extend it?
And it really is coming down to the wire, Lindsay, but multiple Israeli sources telling me that they are willing to extend the ceasefire as long as Hamas can continue to release hostages. But the available pool of hostages that Hamas considers eligible, women and children, is getting significantly smaller now. And that major U.S. diplomatic push that we've been seeing with Secretary of State Blinken here is geared not only to ensuring that more hostages are released, but to allowing more time for that desperately needed humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza before fighting resumes. Lindsay.
And Matt, before I let you go, any word if they'll consider at all releasing men?
That will be much more drawn-out negotiations. It will take a longer amount of time. Hamas values men more, especially soldiers, so they're going to ask for more prisoners in exchange for those soldiers or adult men of fighting age. And Israel has specifically said, and multiple sources confirming this to me, they're not going to wait for those negotiations to play out before resuming the war. If they're going to start negotiating, Israel says they're going to go into Gaza again. Lindsay.
All right, Matt Gutman once again from Tel Aviv for us. Thanks so much, Matt. A fiery debate on Capitol Hill over whether to expel New York Congressman George Santos. The embattled Republican spoke on the House floor today ahead of an expected expulsion vote in the House tomorrow. Here's ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
On Capitol Hill today, the last stand of disgraced Congressman George Santos, who could be expelled from the House by this time tomorrow.
If I leave, they win. If I leave, the bullies take place. This is bullying.
But on the House floor, the Republican chairman of the Ethics Committee says Santos is not a victim.
Representative Santos sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of his House candidacy for his own personal profit.
The Ethics Committee concluding Santos stole money from his campaign to pay for rent, designer clothes, and even Botox. Separately, the congressman faces trial on 23 federal criminal charges, including identity theft and credit card fraud. He has pleaded not guilty, and today vowed to fight.
I will not stand by quietly. They want me out of this body. The people of the 3rd District of New York sent me here.
But New York Republicans are pushing back.
George Santos is not the person he offered to voters. He didn't work where he said he did. He didn't go to school where he said he did. He's far from rich. He isn't Jewish, and his mother was not in the South Tower during 9/11.
Today, a handful of Republicans standing to defend Santos, noting that in modern times, Congress has never expelled a member who wasn't convicted of a crime.
Kicking out Mr. Santos is setting a very dangerous precedent.
The leader of House Democrats says it's not about precedent, it's about power.
The question that we should all be asking is, why is George Santos still around? Why? Because House Republicans needed George Santos's vote.
We'll soon see how much longer he stays around. Rachel Scott joins us now from the Capitol. Rachel, we know this House vote is expected tomorrow, but beyond George Santos, just give us a bit of a reality check as far as what this Congress has actually done and gotten accomplished as this year starts to come to a close.
Lindsay, it's a great question because this is considered to be one of the least productive sessions of Congress since the Great Depression. So far this Congress, only 22 bills have been signed into law. You know this. So much of the focus here on Capitol Hill has been over those drawn-out speaker battles. We had 2 of them. Negotiations over how to raise the debt limit, whether to keep the government funded, whether to fund Ukraine or Israel. And of course, one of the first orders of business tomorrow is expected to be that resolution on whether to expel Congressman George Santos from the House, Lindsay.
Really a dismal record there. Rachel Scott for us. Thanks so much, Rachel. Former President Donald Trump is once again under a gag order in his $250 million civil fraud trial in New York. An appeals court reinstated the order this morning and rejected Trump's claim that it was a violation of his First Amendment rights. The judge said he imposed the order barring Trump from commenting about court staff out of concern for their safety. Trump's lawyers called today's decision a complete and total breakdown of the rule of law. Tonight, Ohio is seeing a troubling outbreak of pneumonia in children. Health officials consider the numbers to be extremely high as they track down what's making these kids sick. Here's ABC's Whit Johnson.
Tonight, health officials in Ohio raising concern about an outbreak of pneumonia in children. Warren County, just north of Cincinnati, saying they've seen an extremely high number of pediatric pneumonia cases, reporting 142 children infected since August. The county medical director saying they were alerted to the rise by local school districts.
We've had several districts, 1 or 2 in particular, that have been disproportionately hit.
The district reporting the most common symptoms include cough, fever, and fatigue. The average age of children impacted is 8 years old, but they have not seen an uptick in hospitalizations and no deaths.
And they haven't seen a lot of inpatient admissions, which is good.
The CDC telling ABC News they are monitoring the situation, but there are no unusual patterns of pneumonia nationwide.
These are predictable patterns of illness that happen in our kids every year.
This outbreak in Ohio coming amid those alarming images overseas. China facing a surge in hospitalizations. Today, the CDC director testifying before Congress saying that surge is not due to a new virus.
We do not believe this is a new or novel pathogen. We believe this is all existing, meaning COVID, flu, RSV.
China hit with its first cold and flu season since lifting its strict COVID restrictions.
Despite the headlines we were seeing in China, there's no indication that there's any new viruses or bacteria spreading from country to country.
That seems to be some positive news, at least. Whit Johnson joins us now. Whit, I know that local officials say they're monitoring this outbreak closely, and health officials are also tracking an uptick in COVID and flu cases across the country. What are they saying?
Yes, Lindsay, as the winter season draws closer, the CDC reports a rise in flu cases in the South and COVID in parts of the Midwest. As for that outbreak in Ohio, county health officials say they do not believe they're dealing with a new respiratory disease, but instead likely a variety of common illnesses hitting all at once. Lindsay?
All right, Whit Johnson for us. Thanks so much, Whit. Maui officials are on standby to prevent heavy rains from sending wildfire ash into storm drains. Forecasters are saying a winter storm could bring heavy rain and strong winds to the island, which could push ash from Lahaina's deadly August wildfire down into the drains. The National Weather Service said rain falling at a rate of more than 1 inch per hour could trigger localized flooding over burnt areas in Lahaina and in Kula, which is a mountainous region where the wildfires fanned out 3 months ago. An investigation is now underway after a massive explosion rocked a neighborhood in Minnesota. Authorities say a large home caught fire in St. Paul, then exploded. Firefighters arrived to find the home engulfed in flames. Much of that home was reduced to rubble. One body was recovered from the blast. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, authorities investigating what caused this house explosion in Minnesota. This traffic video showing the fiery aftermath, at least one body recovered.
This is going to be a house explosion with fire, multiple calls on it.
The blast rocking the South St. Paul neighborhood just after 6 this morning, startling neighbors awake.
Basically, I heard a big loud boom and it shook my house.
Firefighters responding quickly, working to extinguish the flames, the house leveled to smoldering debris.
The entire house is missing, garage is still intact.
Authorities say they found the body inside that garage 3 hours after the explosion, though they've yet to identify the person killed. Neighbors say 3 people lived at the home, though tonight police say the homeowner wasn't there at the time of the explosion, and they're confident no other victims were inside, but the investigation is ongoing.
We'll probably be out here most of the day. The back of the house is totally flattened, so we'll have to dig through the entire house methodically and uncover any evidence of what caused the fire.
So mysterious. Our thanks to Trevor for that. Tonight, the world is mourning the loss of Henry Kissinger. Former National Security Advisor and Secretary of State is known for helping shape America's Cold War foreign policy. 12 presidents went to Dr. Kissinger for advice, formally or informally, right up until this year when he turned 100. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
Powerful and polarizing, loved by some and loathed by others, Henry Kissinger advised a dozen U.S. presidents and did more to define America's role post-World War II than perhaps any other. An astonishing feat for someone who left Nazi Germany as a Jewish refugee with his family at age 15.
There is no country in the world where it is conceivable that a man of my origins could be standing here next to the President of the United States.
He got a PhD at Harvard, where he was a professor until President Nixon appointed him National Security Advisor and then Secretary of State, the only person ever to hold both jobs at the same time. Kissinger led secret negotiations with Mao's China, laying the groundwork for Nixon's historic trip in 1972, and the reestablishment of relations between the U.S. and China, a Cold War masterstroke designed to isolate the Soviet Union. He was also the architect of détente, the policy of reducing tensions with the Soviets, leading to a landmark nuclear treaty. He would negotiate an end to the Vietnam War, or more accurately, an end to America's role in that war.
We believe that peace is at hand.
Kissinger would share the Nobel Peace Prize for ending America's involvement, but the war would rage on for another 2 years. His critics accused him of prolonging it, calling him a war criminal after carpet bombing of Cambodia killed tens of thousands.
Foreign policy has to reflect the continuing values of the American people.
Kissinger's critics say he stripped U.S. policy of morality, supporting dictators and human rights abusers when he believed it served America's interests. A diplomat until the very end, he continued meeting with leaders around the globe, even traveling to China this year at age 100, receiving a warm welcome and a meeting with President Xi Jinping.
So working right up to the end, Jonathan Karl joins us now. John, what do you think his legacy is going to be?
Well, look, it's a divided legacy. I mean, there are people that hate him, people think he was a diplomatic genius. The one thing that absolutely cannot be disputed is his impact on American foreign policy. It was an impact. His policy has been described as realpolitik. That the United States should pursue its interests, not any kind of a moral agenda. So not the democracy agenda that Jimmy Carter pursued, and not, in many ways, the crusading anti-communist agenda that Ronald Reagan pursued. So some of his critics will say that he basically tried to take morality, the question of morality, out of U.S. foreign policy.
Certainly made an imprint on this country that is undeniable.
He did. And by the way, that trip to China, that wasn't the only thing he did this year. I mean, he published an article that just last month in Foreign Affairs on the dangers of artificial intelligence.
Wow. 100 years old. Jonathan Karl, our thanks to you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight, including Elon Musk's expletive-filled response to advertisers who left X after he appeared to agree with an anti-Semitic post. We'll break down the fallout. But next in our Prime focus, Navajo Nation had an integral part in the nuclear arms race as a site for uranium mining, and more mining could be coming. But that's raising concerns for many after a dangerous accident 4 decades ago led to a cleanup that's still not finished.
Their method of cleanup was hire some laborers, give them a shovel, 5-gallon buckets, start scooping all that slime that was left behind into those buckets.
That wasn't enough.
That wasn't enough.
Whenever news breaks,
The crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live. ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. Navajo Nation has a sacred connection with its land. The group believes Mother Earth is a relative, an ancestor. So what happens when the land is making them sick? Some say much of the problem can be traced back to a mining incident that sent tons of radioactive waste flowing through their community. ABC's Maria Villarreal has more on the decades-long cleanup and the fears of more mining in the future.
This is it. It's where I was born. We don't want to leave because this is where we grew up. The mine, they started coming in when maybe I was in 5th, 6th grade. They were all over the place. I was scared of them.
This land is home to 300,000 Navajo citizens, including retired healthcare worker Bertha Nez. Her backyard is part of an open secret that's plagued this community for more than 70 years.
My grandparents used to have a lot of sheep and goats. It's like where we all grew up, and we wanted to stay here.
Hundreds of abandoned uranium mines line the 25,000 square miles of the Navajo Nation, and now a possible renewed threat striking fear among its citizens. During the Cold War era, the U.S. Department of Defense contracted with several companies to extract almost 30 million tons of uranium from Navajo lands for American nuclear programs.
There's my dad participating in the ceremonial parade, and this one here. There's my older sister again, April, with my mom. I was probably 4 months old in her tummy. Rexy, get up here. Come on.
Larry King was an eyewitness to the largest radioactive spill in American history, which occurred on Navajo lands in 1979.
That's about where the location of the Tyleen's ponds are. And all that contamination flowed on the other side of the hilltop here.
The Church Rock spill occurred when an earthen dam holding back 94 million gallons of radioactive waste failed, pouring its toxic waste into the Puerco watershed that lines Larry's property. 44 years later, the cleanup is still underway.
Their method of cleanup was hire some laborers, give them a shovel, 5-gallon buckets, start scooping all that slime that was left behind into those buckets.
2 decades later, Navajo researchers released the DNA Project, a study that found people living near abandoned uranium mines had significantly higher risk for respiratory illnesses, cancer, and kidney failure. Shortly after, the Navajo Nation passed a ban on uranium mining, saying as long as there are no answers to cancer, we shouldn't have uranium mining on the Navajo Nation.
We want our future kids, grandkids, all to be safe. That's what we want. Because we lost a lot of people that worked at the uranium mine. They had problems, respiratory problems, cancer, and all kinds of stuff. We'd rather have a safe place to live and people to be safe.
Near the mining site, the Redwater Pond was once home to as many as 30 families, but now there's only a handful. Bertha Nez's family has moved at least 3 times since 2007 under the EPA's temporary housing program during cleanup efforts.
We don't want to leave because we're used to this, our residence, and this is where we grew up.
They say the environmental contamination has bled into every aspect of their family's life, haunting them to this day.
We don't have the sheep anymore. At one time, we had a sheep we butchered, and it wasn't good anymore. We opened it up and saw it was all yellow. We couldn't take it anymore. Damage has been done already. People are sick from cancer and respiratory problem, and they pass away, most of them.
In the last decade, corporate and government settlements started funding cleanup efforts to reduce risks to the Navajo people. Community fears are growing with the possibility of new threats as renewed uranium exploration progresses along Navajo borders.
And so this is New Mexico.
Boo Nygren is the president of the Navajo Nation.
And so this is what we're talking about when we say the checkerboard situation, where there's parts of here that don't belong to the nation.
So you'll see little squares there that say that's checkerboard, so that's not part of the Navajo Nation. Some are private land, state land, and so they're all within the boundaries of the Navajo Nation, but they're not Navajo Nation lands.
The private land he's talking about is now owned by Toronto-based corporation Laramide, a company hoping to extract uranium from the earth through a modern-day technique called in situ recovery, ISR for short. According to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, ISR is a primary extraction method currently used to obtain uranium from underground. In an email to ABC News, Laramide said ISR is more akin to a water treatment plant than what most people would think of as mining. But whether it's a traditional form of mining or a water-based technique, the desired end result is the same: uranium.
People are always going to try to find a loophole, but to me, we hope that officials understand that they shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
The Navajo government has battled over the jurisdiction of this property since it's surrounded by the nation. But the courts have ruled the operations are on private land and not subject to Navajo sovereignty.
We truly believe the Navajo Nation did their part, supplied uranium. We still have over 500 plus mines that are still abandoned and not cleaned up. I know it's going to cost a lot of money in the billions of dollars, but we got to start somewhere.
In August, the Department of Energy awarded Laramide a nearly $2 million grant to study how to restore the groundwater source they plan to use if they move forward.
It's subsidizing with U.S. taxpayer money foreign companies to try to get uranium out of the ground. In this case, in places where the local communities and the Navajo Nation don't want it out of the ground. They want it left there. Laramide is a mining company. Its goal is to get uranium out of the ground, sell it to utilities to make profit.
Chris Shuey says the companies that mined the Navajo Nation decades ago have a questionable track record.
What we've seen from the history of the uranium industry, once the financial benefits were exhausted, the companies up and left.
A major concern with the proposed project for many is the potential impact on one of the region's only freshwater sources, the Westwater Canyon Aquifer. Many fear this would add to an already existing water shortage. 30% of homes in the Navajo Nation do not have access to clean running water.
We need to protect the aquifer, the water. Water is life.
What does that mean for the 15,000 people that live in this area?
That's a disaster for the community around this area. Complete disaster.
What does justice mean in this situation?
The legacy cleanup, and also with this one NRC license that's still on the table, and the threat of new mining from that license is rescinded.
The NRC says the primary restoration goal for any company is to return groundwater to pre-injection levels. If that's not possible, the NRC says it will accept the standard set by the EPA under the Safe Drinking Water Act.
At the NRC's own admission, there has never been a mining company that has returned an aquifer back to its pre-mining stage.
You run the risk of committing a portion of your groundwater to long-term contamination.
The Environmental Protection Agency has been the lead agency addressing abandoned mines in the area since cleanup began in 2008. We met with the EPA's Jacob Phipps on the Luka Chukai Mountains. He says there are approximately 32 abandoned uranium mines in this area.
For those people that will say, you haven't been able to clean up one mine in decades, what's taking so long? How do you respond?
We hear a lot of times in these communities that the process is just taking too long. Our process does take a long time. When we step foot on site is we have to determine where the contamination is. How far is it in the ground? How widespread is it? That takes some time.
Does it feel like this is an uphill battle for you and the staff, and for that matter, the nation that has been trying to clean this up for so long?
We've committed to do cleanup on at least 240 of these mine sites, and I think that they're all achievable.
Navajo leaders say they are determined to keep fighting for the land that's so closely tied to their future. What does success look like here when it comes to these mines?
Success for me in my term as president would be to have one mine clean. And that would be a huge success, something that hasn't been done in 20 plus years.
Navajo leaders say they are determined to keep fighting for the land that's so closely tied to their future. After all this time, you have continued to fight. How much more fight do you have in you?
Until the day I leave this Mother Earth, what keeps me going is looking out my front door and seeing the landscape. And also for my grandkids, looking at them. And for that reason, I keep myself going.
That land worth fighting for. Our thanks to Maria Villarreal for that. You can learn more about the lasting impact of America's nuclear past in our special streaming tonight, Fallout, Two Nations Under Uranium. It airs at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live and then streams on Hulu. And we still have much more to get to coming up. How the plants around your home could help save your house and family from a fire. Ginger Z has that story. But next, 2023 is set to be the warmest year on record. We'll look at the state of the global climate by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
on the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward,
With some fun in between.
a real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning
America's #1 early morning news.
on ABC News Live.
No one can get enough of Taylor and Travis.
Totally don't think it's fake. I think it's real. Are you kidding?
Your personal life is not going to be personal anymore, Travis Kelce. You are dating Taylor Swift.
1, 2, 3, got me.
We've never seen something like this.
Everyone went nuts. I think that people are intrigued enough to see what happens with this, especially because it feels like this is a different relationship for Taylor.
It's Taylor and Travis, now streaming on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, Afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
In Dnipro, Ukraine, I'm Martha Raddatz. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. The most important talks surrounding climate change are now underway in Dubai, where world leaders, scientists, and environmental advocates are discussing the best ways to fight climate change in the years ahead. So with the issue front and center, let's take a look at the state of global climate by the numbers. 2023 is on track to be the warmest year on record. That's according to the UN World Meteorological Organization. Global temperatures are rising 1.4 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. That's 34.5 degrees if you convert to Fahrenheit. A few degrees could mean all the difference of a climate catastrophe. 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. Just that slight rise in the Earth's temperature could mean more raging wildfires, red tides, and flash floods, events that people worldwide already face. So why 2.7 degrees? Well, back in 2016, the U.S. and 195 other parties signed the Paris Agreement, a legally binding treaty to try to lower the amount of greenhouse gases to keep the global average temperature increase below that number. So that's one of the big focuses of COP28, a 13-day meeting that's now happening for the 28th time. But leaders have a lot to tackle. The UN's climate change body said earlier this month that global greenhouse gas emissions need to fall by 45% by the end of this decade in order to meet the goal. Instead, emissions are set to rise 9%. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. New DNA findings in the case of that alleged Long Island serial killer. We'll have the latest. And my conversation with Abbott Elementary star Cheryl Lee Ralph about her foundation's work to tackle HIV/AIDS. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on. Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
We're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Amid her close call at New York's JFK Airport, Meta disables fake accounts linked to China, and Bronny James is cleared to return to play after that cardiac scare. These stories and much more in tonight's Rundown.
Democrats in the Senate Judiciary Committee have voted to subpoena 2 prominent conservatives as part of their inquiry into Supreme Court ethics practices. The move so incensed Republican members they left the hearing, refusing to cast votes. But the majority voted to subpoena Republican mega-donor Harlan Crow and Federalist Society board chief Leonard Leo as part of their inquiry launched after revelations of undisclosed travel and other gifts by Justice Clarence Thomas.
In the alleged serial killer case just outside of New York City, Rex Heuermann pleaded not guilty to killing at least 3 women on Long Island. He's also the prime suspect in a 4th murder. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News a DNA sample taken from his estranged wife matches hair on the burlap used to wrap the victims. Prosecutors have cleared her of any wrongdoing, saying she was out of town at the time of the murders.
Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, says it has shut down thousands of fake Facebook accounts from China aimed at influencing the 2024 elections. Meta says the nearly 4,800 accounts were attempting to build an audience when they were identified and deleted. The accounts were attempting to reshare polarizing posts from X, formerly Twitter. The accounts originated from China, although there is no direct link to the Chinese government. This highlights concerns about online disinformation ahead of the elections. Despite this action, some critics argue Meta isn't doing enough to combat it, especially with the rise of AI-generated content.
The FAA is investigating a near mid-air collision at New York's JFK Airport. An American Airlines flight from Los Angeles and a private plane apparently both tried to land on the same runway at the same time. Air traffic control directed them to land on parallel runways, insisting they were separate paths. The American pilot reported, "He is right above us." The private plane was ordered to break off its approach. Both planes landed safely.
Police in Dallas, Texas have confirmed that Buffalo Bills player Von Miller has turned himself into their station after an arrest warrant was issued for allegedly assaulting his pregnant girlfriend.
Yesterday, police say Miller attacked his girlfriend inside their home around noon and then fled before officers arrived. His girlfriend was treated for minor injuries. The NFL and the Bills said that they are aware of the incident but have not commented any further.
LeBron James' son Bronny has been cleared to return to basketball. The USC freshman suffered cardiac arrest during a workout 4 months ago, undergoing surgery to correct a congenital heart defect. He will have one more evaluation before attending practice next week. He's expected to play in games shortly after that.
Ex-owner Elon Musk shocked viewers yesterday at the annual New York Times Dealbook Summit after he unloaded on advertisers, including ABC's parent company Disney, who left his social media company after Musk apparently endorsed an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory in a post. ABC's Aaron Katursky has the details.
I did clarify almost immediately what I meant.
Elon Musk's regret at the annual New York Times Dealbook Summit. He said he should not have responded to a post on his social media network X that spouted an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
You know, if I could go back and say I should, in retrospect, not have replied to that particular person, and I should have written in greater length as to what I meant.
Musk then apologized.
Essentially, I handed a loaded gun to those who hate me, and arguably to those who are anti-Semitic. For that, I'm quite sorry. That was not my intention.
Musk wrote, "You have said the actual truth," after a user posted that, quote, "Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them." Advertisers bolted. Big companies like IBM, Apple, and ABC News parent Disney pulled their advertising from X, Musk using an expletive to describe what he called blackmail, including criticizing Disney CEO Bob Iger, who attended the same summit.
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
Sitting in the audience, the new chief executive of X. Musk's latest remarks complicate her job of convincing advertisers to return.
The thing that everyone will remember from today is Elon Musk telling advertisers who have left the platform, left X, to do a profane act to themselves. You know, he has insulted them, and he's telling them that they've ruined the company by no longer advertising on the platform.
Our thanks to Aaron Katursky. As some states across the country had their worst fire season on record, new groundbreaking research shows us how we can actually better protect our homes from flames with plants. ABC's chief meteorologist Ginger Z traveled to Southern California to learn how.
While Canada had unprecedented wildfires that brought us the worst air quality in the world from Minneapolis to New York this summer, we've also seen historic seasons in parts of the country that we don't always associate with wildfire, from North Carolina to Louisiana.
Nobody alive in Louisiana has ever seen these conditions.
Tirtha Banerjee and his team at the University of California, Irvine are studying why the last decade has been so intense.
Because we talk often, and you hear often, oh, climate change and wildfire. But really, there are so many parts to it.
Right. Yes, so climate change is one part of it. The other part of it is land management.
They focus on the wildland-urban interface, where we have built into nature. Their research a few years ago found that the majority of damage comes from small embers that can travel miles out ahead of the main fire. And now they're studying the behavior of embers to understand and predict how and when they could ignite homes.
We are tracking their velocities. You see the arrows, they're showing their direction.
That data will make fire forecasts better, helping city planners, firefighters, and homeowners protect themselves.
A lot of palms are not native.
You can see these very brown husks on these fan palms. They light up like tiki torches, and embers fly off of them right onto roofs and structures and spark new fires.
Cassie Awiagi owns a landscaping business that specializes in fire protection.
And your landscaping can reduce the risk of an ember igniting.
Absolutely.
Number 1, leave 5 feet of gravel or concrete as a buffer around your house. Number 2, use plants that are native to your area.
Ideally, the strategy is that the ember lands into a hydrated green plant and that it loses its fuel before it attaches to something that's combustible on the house.
Number 3, wide open is not the way to go.
And if we have all open space with gravel all the way to the home, it actually creates ember bowling alleys that just invite embers to roll in all the way to the home.
Cassie says native plants can cost less in the long run, and the investment is definitely worth it.
We are talking about plant choices that can change whether we can save a property and a life.
Our thanks to Ginger for that. Actress Cheryl Lee Ralph is best known for her smash success, ABC's Abbott Elementary, but she's been a familiar face for years, beginning with her breakout Broadway hit Dreamgirls. The success of that musical coincided with the start of the HIV/AIDS crisis, leading Ralph to pick up a cause she's still fighting for today. I had the chance to speak with her about her work, her passions, and the Diva Foundation.
Take us back. Your Broadway debut, 1981, Dreamgirls. What was happening all around you in the theater community at that time?
So much was going on. First of all, our fame was rising fast. It was like a burning fire, and everybody wanted to come and see it in the best possible way. And I always tell people it was like the best and the worst time in my life, because here it is, our star is ascending, and my friends literally start dropping dead. I mean, I wrote it in a play that I had written. They were sick today and dead tomorrow. Nobody wanted to talk about who they were, who they had been. It was as if, oh, they were just gone, so shh, we don't talk about that. And it was just said with such, oh my God, such hate, such disdain, such disregard for humanity. And it was one of the best and absolute devastating times in my whole life. Part of it changed me forever. I don't think I'll ever be the same after having seen all of that.
So you start speaking out on behalf of this community and get pushback.
Oh, it was horrible. That was when I started really learning about the different levels of isms in life. I'm a child of the 60s, so I thought it was just racism. You know, I didn't know that there was sexism, sexual choice-ism. I didn't know there were all these other isms on top of it. And when people would look at me and tell me, why do you care? What's wrong with you? You must be one of those people. And I was just like, what people? The people who care, the people who are a part of our entertainment community, the talented people, the kind people. What people are you talking about? The people who said to me to my face, nobody's going to like you for caring about them. I could never wrap my brain around all these things that were being thrown at me.
So in 1990, you create the Diva Foundation. What was the mission?
Divinely inspired, victoriously aware, AIDS aware. You know, at that time, You could swing a pocketbook and knock a diva down. Everybody wanted to be a diva, but it was diva with bad attitude, you know? And my whole thing is, look, if your attitude is bigger than your hairstyle, I can't deal with this. No, it's just too much. Hence, you see me in my big hair. But I started this, and I called up all of my friends, all the divas with the good sense that I knew. I said, divas, we need to come together and use our voices, one song at a time, to raise up the memory of our friends, because they deserve to be remembered no matter what.
So signature event was in 1991.
Yes.
And now 33 years later, it's the Divas Simply Singing.
Yeah.
Tell us what it has evolved to become.
When we first started, it was a living, breathing memorial to all the friends that I had lost to AIDS. And I said, for all of those people who, when you went to the hospital and there was no hospital bed for them and they were just out in the hallways, for those people, there was no burial for them because churches and hospitals didn't want to touch them. For those who could not get care because doctors and nurses didn't want to give them care that they just, You had to see what this was like. You had to see what it was like when people could literally stand in judgment and say that's what they get. That's what those people deserve. So I wanted to create something that could raise up their memory. They were somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's lover. They were somebody to somebody. Besides, anybody that could help you with your wig and your wardrobe problems, they need to be remembered, right? So I created Divas Simply Singing, the light, the mic, and the diva with the sheer power of her voice and her presence, one song at a time, to raise up their memory. And I would never have believed that we would be sitting here 33 years later, and we're still doing this. I would have thought that there would have been a cure. I would have thought that at the very least, we would have a vaccine.
Many people know you, obviously, for your acting prowess, have a hit show, but you don't just act, you also produce and you direct.
Yeah.
Tell us about your new documentary, Unexpected.
Unexpected for me is so unexpected. 2 young women get an unexpected diagnosis. They're HIV positive. Now you would think for 2 vibrant young women that this would be a diagnosis that would kill their spirit. But they take it in and they figure out, each one of them, how can I use this for good? How can I use this to help others? And that is exactly what they do. The kicker is, one of those young women met me early on when I was doing my fight, and she was young. And she said, Miss Ralph, one day I'm gonna work with you. Who knew that she'd be working with me on this project? God, you know, you never know how God and Goddess will arrange your steps in life.
Works in mysterious ways.
Works in very mysterious ways. These are stories that people need to hear, because still the isms keep stacking up. And for me, it was just figuring out, what can I do? What can Cheryl Lee Ralph do?
What's next for you?
More. You know, there's a song, what is it? I want to grab that brass ring. I want, when I go around this merry-go-round, that when it comes to a standstill, I can say, I did my best and I enjoyed it. And in my mind, I know there are going to be all these young people around me, and they're going to say, that's Cheryl Lee Ralph, that's Auntie, that's Moesha Mama, that's Miss Howard, that's that lady. And I know they're all going to look at me and they're going to say, thank you, lady, thank you. And I'm going to say, I did it for you.
Miss Cheryl.
That part.
Thank you. What a wonderful conversation. Such a pleasure and a privilege to talk with you. Really appreciate it.
And you can go to divasisimplysinging.com to find out where to watch this year's special presentation of Divas Simply Singing on Friday, December 1st, in honor of World AIDS Day. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, porch pirates caught on camera as suspected thieves snatch holiday packages, and the new lawsuit that claims video game companies are intentionally addicting kids to their games.
News. This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
No one can get enough of Taylor and Travis.
Totally don't think it's fake. I think it's real. Are you kidding?
Your personal life is not going to be personal anymore, Travis Kelce. You are dating Taylor Swift.
1, 2, 3, got me.
We've never seen something like this.
Everyone went nuts. I think that people are intrigued enough to see what happens with this, especially because it feels like this is a different relationship for Taylor.
It's Taylor and Travis, now streaming on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, including the new group of hostages released by Hamas as the fragile ceasefire between Hamas and Israel holds. What's next in the conflict as aid organizations plead for a long-term truce to help the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Plus, emergency crews race to the scene of a house explosion. At least 1 body recovered. The investigation into that explosion. And the new lawsuit that claims video game companies are intentionally addicting kids to their games. We'll have one family story. But we do begin with those major developments in the Israel-Hamas war. New images tonight of 6 more Israeli hostages who were released and are now back in Israel in the custody of the Red Cross. No Americans were set free today. The latest releases come amid escalating violence in Jerusalem. At least 4 people were killed after a shooting at a bus stop there. And unless it's extended again, the temporary truce between Israel and Hamas is set to expire by morning. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman in Tel Aviv.
Tonight, that tearful embrace, the sobs of relief, and the moment the family of 21-year-old Mia Shem, held hostage for 55 days, finally reunited. A mother holding on to the daughter she thought she'd lost. And just a few hours earlier, that massive crowd surrounding Mia and another hostage, gunmen escorting her to that Red Cross van in Gaza. Mia's mother getting the phone call that her daughter was coming home. We first spoke with Mia's mother 6 weeks ago after her family watched this video released by Hamas showing Mia in captivity, pleading to her family to help her get home, wounded and hollow-eyed days after she was taken hostage from that music festival on October 7th.
Nothing will ever be the same for you.
Of course not. I mean, this is the worst nightmare every mother can have.
Hamas freeing 8 hostages today, none of them Americans, more than 100 still being held, with Israel releasing 30 more Palestinian women and minors amid urgent negotiations. That temporary ceasefire set to expire in hours. And the fragile truce threatened today. Video circulating online showing the moment Palestinian gunmen attacked a bus stop in Jerusalem, opening fire, sending the crowd running. At least 4 Israelis killed, including a pregnant woman, several more wounded. Hamas claiming responsibility. Tonight, Israel with renewed vows to eradicate Hamas and move to the next phase of the war in southern Gaza. We pressed the IDF.
You're saying that southern Gaza could look like northern Gaza?
I'm saying that if Hamas is in southern Gaza, we have no choice but to go after Hamas where they are located.
So many civilians living in bombed-out neighborhoods. 15,000 people have been killed in Gaza, according to the health ministry run by Hamas. The UN warning of an epic humanitarian catastrophe with nearly 2 million Palestinians displaced. Our team met 40-year-old Najla Mata in Khan Yunis. She supports the truce, but says there's no water and no food. The simplest things in life are not there for us to live. And tonight, rising concern over the fate of 8 American hostages still believed held in Gaza. Israeli and American officials admitting they know little about their condition or even which group is holding them. This is the last video Iris Hagai Liniato says she has of her mother, Judy, an American citizen, her parents taking their morning walk when gunmen shot them.
What is it like living with this uncertainty for so long now?
It's a nightmare, you know? Not knowing for 55 days is... I won't wish this upon anybody.
Unbearable for many. Our thanks to Matt. A fiery debate on Capitol Hill over whether to expel New York Congressman George Santos. The embattled Republican spoke on the House floor today ahead of an expected expulsion vote in the House tomorrow. Here's ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
On Capitol Hill today, the last stand of disgraced Congressman George Santos, who could be expelled from the House by this time tomorrow.
If I leave, they win. If I leave, the bullies take place. This is bullying.
But on the House floor, the Republican chairman of the Ethics Committee says Santos is not a victim.
Representative Santos sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of his House candidacy for his own personal profit.
The Ethics Committee concluding Santos stole money from his campaign to pay for rent, designer clothes, and even Botox. Separately, the congressman faces trial on 23 federal criminal charges, including identity theft and credit card fraud. He has pleaded not guilty, and today vowed to fight.
I will not stand by quietly. They want me out of this body. The people of the 3rd District of New York sent me here.
But New York Republicans are pushing back.
George Santos is not the person he offered to voters. He didn't work where he said he did. He didn't go to school where he said he did. He's far from rich. He isn't Jewish, and his mother was not in the South Tower during 9/11.
Today, a handful of Republicans standing to defend Santos, noting that in modern times, Congress has never expelled a member who wasn't convicted of a crime.
Kicking out Mr. Santos is setting a very dangerous precedent.
The leader of House Democrats says it's not about precedent, it's about power.
The question that we should all be asking is, why is George Santos still around? Why? Because House Republicans needed George Santos's vote.
We'll soon see how much longer he stays around. Rachel Scott joins us now from the Capitol. Rachel, we know this House vote is expected tomorrow, but beyond George Santos, just give us a bit of a reality check as far as what this Congress has actually done and gotten accomplished as this year starts to come to a close.
Lindsay, it's a great question because this is considered to be one of the least productive sessions of Congress since the Great Depression. So far this Congress, only 22 bills have been signed into law. You know this. So much of the focus here on Capitol Hill has been over those drawn-out speaker battles. We had 2 of them. Negotiations over how to raise the debt limit, whether to keep the government funded, whether to fund Ukraine or Israel. And of course, one of the first orders of business tomorrow is expected to be that resolution on whether to expel Congressman George Santos from the House, Lindsay.
Really a dismal record there. Rachel Scott for us. Thanks so much, Rachel. Tonight, NFL star Von Miller of the Buffalo Bills is in custody, accused of assaulting his pregnant girlfriend at his Dallas home. Police outside of Dallas confirmed the linebacker turned himself into authorities after an arrest warrant was issued. Miller is accused of assaulting his girlfriend of 7 years on Wednesday. Court records show Miller's girlfriend told officers Miller began to shove and push her at one point, applied pressure around her neck after an argument about upcoming travel plans. Miller's girlfriend was treated for minor injuries. An investigation is underway after a massive explosion rocked a neighborhood in Minnesota. Authorities say a large home caught fire in St. Paul, then exploded. Firefighters arrived to find the home engulfed in flames, much of that home reduced to rubble. One body was recovered from the blast. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, authorities investigating what caused this house explosion in Minnesota. This traffic video showing the fiery aftermath, at least one body recovered.
This is going to be a house explosion with fire, multiple calls on it.
The blast rocking this South St. Paul neighborhood just after 6 this morning, startling neighbors awake.
Basically, I heard a big loud boom and it shook my house.
Firefighters responding quickly, working to extinguish the flames, the house leveled to smoldering debris.
The entire house is missing, garage is still intact.
Authorities say they found the body inside that garage 3 hours after the explosion, though they've yet to identify the person killed. Neighbors say 3 people lived at the home, though tonight police say the homeowner wasn't there at the time of the explosion, and they're confident no other victims were inside, but the investigation is ongoing.
We'll probably be out here most of the day. The back of the house is totally flattened, so we'll have to dig through the entire house methodically and uncover any evidence of what caused the fire.
Our thanks to Trevor. Turning now to the severe weather threat tonight and possible tornadoes in the south. But as one system pushes east, a new storm moves out of the west, bringing the potential for more severe weather. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano joins us now. Rob, break down the timing for these storms for us.
Well, Lindsay, we've really gotten lucky today. So far, no tornadoes reported, but we got a couple more hours of that threat lingering along the Gulf Coast. Houston along I-10 at Lake Charles. Storms have been bubbling up in that warm sector and will continue to do so through the evening and overnight. The heavy rain right along that warm front, that's going to push quickly across the Mississippi, the Ohio, and over the Appalachians by rush hour tomorrow. It's in the I-95 corridor, and some of that rain could be heavy at times. Mostly rain. You see the snow is well north. It does clear by Saturday morning, but the tail end of that front kind of reinvigorates storms across the Florida Panhandle and through New Orleans. Some of those storms could be strong to severe. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, there's a parade of storms entering the Pacific and then be coming into the Pacific Northwest. One tonight and tomorrow, another one coming in late Sunday, and another one on Tuesday. We could see anywhere from 2 to 4 feet of snow in the mountains through Monday, 5 to 10 inches of rain in the coastal areas of the Pacific Northwest. This is on the heels of an extreme drought season this past summer. That's quickly going away, but now we have to worry about some flooding. Lindsay?
All right. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you as always. As millions of Americans receive those Cyber Monday purchases at their doorstep, police departments across the country are reminding everyone to stay vigilant after suspected porch pirates were caught on camera snatching up deliveries. ABC's DeMarco Morgan has this story.
Caught on camera, a delivery driver in Kansas approaches the door with the package, sets it down, and takes a picture of it. But then he looks around and grabs the package again, taking off with it. Police saying suspected crimes like this one are on the rise nationwide.
My initial reaction was shock because you hear about things like this happening, but they're always like random people in the neighborhood that come and get them. I've never heard of a delivery person doing it.
And in Alabama, police investigating this video. A woman caught on security camera allegedly stealing packages, walking calmly back to her car with several in her arms before driving away. Police departments across the country are now stepping up, opening their doors to keep your delivery safe.
There's well over 100 million packages stolen off front porches every year.
And the sheriff and I were talking, and we just thought this was the right thing to do.
Randall County Sheriff's Office in Amarillo, Texas, started inviting residents to deliver packages straight to their departments last year. The first packages this season already starting to arrive.
We probably averaged anywhere from about 3 to 5 or 6 packages a day at first, and then as it got nearer to Christmas, it increased, and we were seeing anywhere from 10 to 20 packages a day.
Jackson Police Department in Wisconsin offering locals safe refuge for their packages, too.
We started the holiday package program about 3 years ago. So now they're able to safely get their packages from us instead of risking it being stolen.
Possible solution there. Thanks to DeMarco for that. Tonight, NASA astronomers are marveling over a newly discovered solar system. The system, found in the Milky Way, is 100 light years away and has 6 planets that orbit perfectly in sync. In other words, the time it takes for one planet to orbit that solar system's sun is the same time it takes the second planet to orbit that sun twice, the third planet 3 times, and so on. Astronomers say this is incredibly rare. The planets are all outside the sun's so-called habitable zone, leaving little chance for life. And we still have much more to get to. Coming up, the new lawsuit that claims video game companies are intentionally addicting kids to their games. We'll have one family story. But next, the landmark court ruling in Russia today that effectively outlaws LGBTQ activism. We're back in a moment.
Whenever news breaks,
The crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas, ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more, and I'm into it. I've been running through this strange life. Pictures on my phone, like everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
I'm Ian Pannell. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Dozens of South Korean dog farmers clashed with police today during a rally near the presidential office. The protest was in reaction to a push by the government to outlaw dog meat consumption. Earlier this month, South Korean officials agreed to introduce legislation which would ban this centuries-old practice in the next 4 years. It's estimated that up to 1 million dogs are slaughtered each year for consumption. A landmark ruling in Russia today as the country's Supreme Court effectively outlawed LGBTQ activism. It's the most drastic step against advocates of gay, lesbian, and transgender rights in the increasingly conservative country. In the court's ruling to a lawsuit filed by the Justice Ministry, the court labeled what the suit called the LGBTQ movement operating in Russia as an extremist organization. This is the latest crackdown under President Vladimir Putin, who has emphasized traditional family values during his 24 years in power. And one German family is breaking its own record of getting into the holiday spirit with a whopping 555 Christmas trees of all shapes, sizes, and colors throughout their home. The homeowner, an avid Christmas tree collector, says he finds the trees nice and relaxing and says he aims to have 600 trees one day, though his wife is against it. The video game industry has become a multi-billion-dollar business, but a new lawsuit claims some video game companies are intentionally addicting kids to their games. The mother at the center of the lawsuit blames video game addiction for her son's emotional distress, anger, and depression. ABC's Whit Johnson has more.
A major lawsuit taking on the video game industry. An Arkansas mother and son accusing manufacturers of intentionally designing games to be as addictive as possible.
I spent a lot of nights crying, thinking that I was a bad parent because of it. Because if there's any other parent dealing with this, I want them to know they're not alone.
21-year-old Preston Johnson and his mother, Elizabeth Jones, claiming in the lawsuit that the games he plays, including Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft, are specifically developed and designed to cause the addiction experienced by him and other users.
That's our goal, to make the video game industry defendants accountable for what they've done to the youth in our country.
Johnson's mom says he started gaming at age 12 and by 16 had dropped out of school due to his desire to stay home and play video games. The lawsuit claiming as a result of gaming addiction, he's experienced severe emotional distress, loss of friends, inability to limit game playing time, depression, withdrawal symptoms such as rage and anger.
At one point, I took away the modem altogether. And he went downstairs and screamed so loud, the neighbors called Child Protective Services because they thought I was abusing him.
Internet gaming disorder is listed as a condition by the American Psychiatric Association, and experts say the diagnosis would depend on the level of distress it causes.
Someone could be playing video games a lot, but it might not impair their functioning or cause an impact on their relationships, whereas someone else might be playing video games a lot, and it could really cause financial ruin or really hurting their relationships.
While many experts agree it needs more study, some psychologists say issues with internet gaming may not be a unique disorder, but a symptom of something else, like depression or autism. The Entertainment Software Association, speaking for the gaming community, telling ABC News, the industry invests in creating easy-to-use tools for players, parents, and caregivers to manage numerous aspects of gameplay. Claims that say otherwise are not rooted in fact and ignore the reality that billions of people enjoy playing video games as part of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Preston's mom says his life has been forever altered.
When he started playing these games, I had no idea that these multi-million-dollar gaming platforms and games were going to create an addict out of my son. I never knew it would destroy our family.
Preston has not completed high school. He's not able to work a 40-hour work week. He doesn't interact with family. He doesn't have friends. He's a bit of a recluse, and the family cannot get him to engage with them.
Really disturbing there. Thanks to Whit for that. Gaming disorder is recognized by a number of groups, including the World Health Organization. If you believe you or someone you know might have an issue, you're encouraged to contact a mental health professional. And still to come, actress, singer, and TikTok star Kylie Cantrell on rewriting the rules of music. Our conversation when we come back.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back, everyone. We turn now to our weekly segment, TikTok, where we take a closer look at the story behind the sensation. Actress, singer, songwriter Kylie Cantrell rose to fame rewriting the rules of music. A viral TikTok sensation reaching more than 6 million followers, Kylie popularized songwriting with a new approach, 10 minutes, 3 words. Take a look.
Back with another 10-minute song. My 3 words are stars, movie, and smoke. Let's go. Okay, so it's currently 1:19 p.m. I have 10 minutes. Clock starts now. What you doing to me? It feels just like a movie. All right, I got the first tap of the hood. Am I writing a love song?
Super talented with some speed there. Kylie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. I'm so happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. Your 10-minute TikTok series paved the way for your recent single, Text Go Green, marking your first musical release in 2 years. And now you're treating your fans to a holiday extended playlist, all inspired by your 10-minute, 3-word technique. Take us back to the beginning and how you got started.
So I got started. I grew up in a very creative household all my life. My parents are both in the industry. My dad is a songwriter and producer. My mom is a dance choreographer. So I was the OG industry baby, you could say. I was always being drug around to my mom's dance rehearsals and my dad's studio sessions that would usually go till like 1 a.m. So it was only obvious that I would, kind of follow in their footsteps. And I think it became pretty evident that I was very passionate about the arts and wanted to perform and be on stage. And I'm very lucky that my parents were very supportive of my dreams very early on. And then a few years later, flash forward to Disney Channel and landing my own TV series that was a dream come true. I've always been such a big fan of Disney Channel. So a lot of pinch me moments along the way and releasing music throughout this whole point and getting signed to a record label. It's all been very exciting, but I truly am living my dream.
Super exciting to watch. And I'm just curious, how did you come up with the 10-minute 3 words?
Well, so it was something that I actually was just kind of doing on my own already. It was a writing kind of challenge that I just brought upon myself to time myself when I was writing. I feel like, I don't know, I do better when I'm under a time constraint. I do this with like cleaning my room. I'll time myself and it's just like I get things done more efficiently when I'm under that time. But yeah, I started filming the process. I was like, maybe people would like to see me write these songs under this time amount. And I started incorporating my fans into it when I would ask them to give me 3 words. And I think it's honestly bonded me and my fans so much that they feel like they're, involved in the writing process. And I think I've grown so much as a songwriter because of this series, for sure.
And just last week, you released Santa Tell Me. How does holiday theme music contribute to your artistic expression?
I mean, for me, like when I think of Christmas, I always think of classic Christmas songs. And, Ariana Grande's Santa Tell Me has always been it's a Christmas classic in my eyes, and it's been one of my favorites. So it was only obvious that I do a cover of it. And I was so happy to release it last week, and I've been getting a really good response on it. But just want to spread a little Christmas cheer this season.
We appreciate that. And you also have your debut album slated for a spring 2024 release, including your upcoming single, Elastic, in January. What can we expect from your album and the next part of your musical journey?
You can expect a lot of dance tracks, some flavors of R&B, a little bit of 90s nostalgia. I've always been inspired by artists like TLC, Aaliyah, Britney Spears. So I think I'm kind of incorporating some of those elements that are so dear to my heart with some more modern and kind of my own take on it. But a lot of stuff is in the works, and I can't wait for everyone to hear what I have coming up.
And you're not just a singer, as we've already touched upon. You appeared in the 4th season of High School Musical, the series on Disney+. And you're also set to take the lead character in Descendants, The Rise of Red, with co-stars Brandy and Rita Ora. What part of making this leap from singing to acting excites you most?
I feel like they really go hand in hand, and they kind of lend themselves to one another. And especially with these 2 back-to-back musical projects, it's just been a dream come true for me because I get to incorporate all different facets of entertainment that I love the most. Singing, dancing, I'm getting to do all of it, especially with these projects. So it's been a dream come true for sure.
Well, Kylie, we so are enjoying the ride and watching you rise. Thanks so much for coming on the show. For more original music, acting gigs, and the occasional Taylor Swift cover, you can check out Kylie on TikTok at Kylie Cantrell. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.